Hello everyone, this is our second live in our Step on Your Fears group, and I cannot be more excited to be here with you on a Friday evening here in Romania. Let me know where you are from. I look forward to getting to know you, from what city you are in right now, because I would love to build a community where we could be united. We are already like minded, where we could put all our experience, all our thoughts, and all our great knowledge together as a huge group and community whose sole purpose is to grow and evolve each day more and more. Our topic for today is about how to be confident in a culture of fear. And I really hope that this time I can see your live comments while we chat, because last time I could only see them after I finished the chat, the live chat with you. So let me know your thoughts. I want to know all of your ideas, all of your questions, suggestions about the topic we have today, which is how to be confident in a culture of fear. I would like to make a short test and see if I can get your guys' comments. So I'll just write a quick hello here in the comments area just to see for myself if it appears. Yeah, oh my gosh, that's great. I can see it. So if my comment is there, it means that it's working. I would love to first define, what does a culture of fear mean? Go live with you. Okay, I'm waving. Thank you for joining, Sorin. Great to have you here. So it is about the way we grew up. A culture of fear means an entire environment where we grew up believing that the ultimate truth would be what our parents would suggest to us. And I am pretty much sure that you have been raised to believe the same thing, and it is most normal and natural to put all of our parents' thoughts and ideas on the first list when it comes to doing everything in life. So we are modeling sometimes um, very loving and wonderful parents that, of course, want the best for us. But what if, without them necessarily wanting to, they are trying to manipulate us? Not in the strong negative way that we could use the manipulation nowadays, but trying to keep us safe, trying to keep us more obedient. And for example, I grew up thinking that it is so bad, it's evil to be in the dark. I had nightmares. I would be so scared to be left alone in the dark, or I would be so afraid of ghosts, because growing up in the countryside, my grandmother would always tell me all sorts of stories and legends. But actually, what she wanted to do was to keep me away from going outside the house, outside the yard, when it got nighttime. And I was extremely afraid to even imagine to be on my own outside of the very safe yard that my family would have at the countryside. What are your experiences since you grew up with fear? Besides being told to be afraid of going outside alone when it was dark, besides being afraid of ghosts and being afraid of the dark, I was also afraid to speak my mind. I would be constantly told you should be very careful what you say because other people may judge you. They may not like your opinion, they may not like the way you think. So it's best if you keep your thoughts to yourself. Hello, my Aunt Georgetta. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining. You are lovely. You are always supporting me, and I really appreciate that so much. I hope you're having a great evening. And I would be very afraid to speak my mind, even when it was about a very minor thing, because in my mind, I started to believe I created this pattern that I should always be really careful what I say, and even more than this, I should keep my thoughts to myself. And this got so bad that I could not express my opinion even when I was asked about something very trivial, about what do you think about the weather. I would always try to be nice and keep my opinion as neutral and as positive as possible, although in the back of my mind I would get a great conflict. I would start to feel very uneasy, very agitated because I actually wanted to say something else, but I wouldn't, because I would be afraid that I would not be accepted, that I would not be loved. And as this is one of the 6 human needs, as Tony Robbins describes them, oh my God, how could I be left aside from my community? Hello Delia, thank you so much for joining. Do let me know what do you think about our topic for today, which is how to be confident in a culture of fear. And as I grew up, as I began to have a job here in Timișoara in Romania, I would feel very difficult. I would feel very agitated, and it would be pretty difficult for me to start to express my real opinion about something. And this began to affect my job in terms of me not having my critical borders, not having my critical thinking, which is very important when it comes to taking serious decisions in a corporation. As I did, I would work in an American multinational company, and it happened that I would need to take certain decisions. I would not have all of my critical thinking there with me, because I was afraid that I would do a mistake. I was afraid that my colleagues or my boss would not accept that. Hello Delia, thank you so much for the nice compliment, brave and beautiful. You are the same, and I look forward to seeing you in your great live talks as well, because you sure have a way with words. Delia is an amazing poet. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And growing up, as I discovered that I need to find out who I am, because I have been suppressing my thoughts, my ideas, all of me, all of my being would be very much kept under the rug most of the time, just trying to avoid to make anyone upset, trying to make everyone happy, but I wasn't happy myself. And it is, as I said in our miniature live that I did before our big live now, it is far-fetched to say that our parents, our grandparents, or our relatives tried to manipulate us in any way. No, they did not try to do this consciously. They wanted to keep us as much as possible obedient and nice and being accepted by everyone around us. They wanted what was best for us. This is how they knew to express their love and their care for us. However, as we grow up, we need to be authentic. We need to know who we are in order to give back to society, to give back to the world that is around us, supporting us, to have a business, to have a job. And if we have a certain purpose that we discover, like it was my case, I wanted to teach people how to step on their fears, how to get rid of negative emotions and patterns and limiting beliefs that would hurt them in their daily lives. I believe that it is so important that we know who we are before we try to express our ideas and thoughts, and why not try to change the world for the better. What is your opinion, Delia? What do you think about this topic? How can you be confident in a culture of fear? How can you leave behind what you have been taught for so many years, 30 plus years of being taught to behave in a certain way, leave their marks on us? And I know for me it was very difficult to move on and see things from a different perspective, because the culture of fear is only strong before you are consciously aware that it exists. And one of my philosophies is quite simple. I believe that once you discover that you have a certain fear, or in this case, once you discover that this is a culture of fear that you no longer want to live in, the problem is halfway solved. Because when you consciously decide you no longer want to continue this path, because you get to choose. Now you know. In the past, you didn't know. It was very hard for you to choose because you did not have any options. And knowledge means choosing the best of the best option that you have available. This is what knowledge is all about, having several options. When you discover the culture of fear and when you realize that you have lived in a lie, and again, I do not want to make it sound so negative, because this is the way that we were brought up, and it is not that our parents, it is not that our relatives wanted to manipulate us in any way. This way of being brought up is something that was the most difficult to oh, we have another person trying. I'm so sorry. Okay, I am right back. I am back. Really sorry. I had a person trying to come in our live and I needed to approve. I hope you didn't get paused with my live chat for more than 2 seconds. So as I was saying, the way we were brought up could not be seen as negative, not necessarily, because what we are trying to achieve with this talk is to have all of the options available. So we grew up in a certain way, and now as we are aware that it is not necessarily the best way for us to continue our life, let's make the choice and decide right now to have a different perspective on what it means to have a free mind. A free mind, when it comes to the culture of fear, means that you are the only person you should be accountable to. And I would love to take this talk even further and tell you that you do not owe any explanations, you do not owe anything to anyone, not even to yourself. When it comes to being free, having the possibility and having the power to simply observe your life without intervening, without feeling any stress, any frustration at all, is something that I personally strive to achieve seeing everything as a fine observer and deciding to go in and get emotionally involved only when it is necessarily, only when it's really a must to have your input, your opinion, and your decisions there. What do you think about this? Am I too liberal in thinking? Am I too uh, am I too free in terms of having my mind so open to anything that comes from me only and not taking other people's opinions into account? Or what do you think about this? I'm very curious to see your input, and even after our live chat is over, I am very, very interested to finding out what does freedom mean to you, because in a way we all want to be free, don't we? We all want to be able to have our life as wonderful and as amazing as we could only dream of, but we do not have those specific facts. What does being free mean to you? Because the next step, after you acknowledge that you have been raised up in a culture of fear, is to know where you are going. So now you have two options. You discovered the way you were brought up could not maybe be what you have wanted for your future, and now you have a new path to follow. You have this freedom that we are not really used to, right? We are not really used to having free choices. We usually are conditioned about the financial situation, about maybe still what other people think, and we do not know how to have a free life. And I encourage you to have the wildest, the most strongest ideas and dreams for your future as you have never had. I saw a great live from Grant Cardone a few days ago. He is one of the billionaires in real estate, and I really recommend you follow this person. He is amazing in terms of business and real estate and investing and free mind, a strong, amazing mind with very, very strong goals. And he said that you should only write your goals in the morning, your wildest dreams, your most amazing ideas that you would like to achieve in the future. Just write them down on a piece of paper and leave them aside. Don't think about anything else. Simply start your day, do your best. Be the best as you can be with your job, with your business, with anything that you do. And you are going to slowly go towards what you want. Because you see, if you say that you want a free life, if you say that you want something for you in terms of finances, in terms of living the life of your dreams, but you are not specific enough, simply write down the amount of money that you want, the brand of car, the country you want to live in, how you would like your career to look like. All these simple things that are in your mind, but you do not have them written down, it is going to affect your future in a way that you are not specific enough. So now that we are aware that we do not want to live in a culture of fear anymore, make sure you write down your goals. This is the final most important step actually, because knowing where you're going is a success as it is. If you want to achieve more than you have right now, make sure you are as specific as possible, because life, God, the universe, you can call it as you want to, will not give you unless you ask for it. Does it make sense? You know, it took me several years of NLP courses on how to create an objective. I've listened to all of the biggest, most strongest people with personal development and business, and it all came up to one single thing: be specific. Be as specific as possible because it's your life. We usually take time to plan our holidays, right? Well, now it's a bit difficult with the pandemic. We don't really take as much time to have our flight itineraries, for example, done as we used to. But I remember that when I would go on a holiday, I would love to have every detail put in place. Make sure you do the same thing with your goals, with your objectives, because this is one of the most important parts of being a free person. Know where you're going. It's not enough that you are free. You know that you do not want to live in fear anymore. You are leaving behind all of the fears of the future, all of the fears of the dark, all of the fears of the present. And I'm talking about my own fears right now, and I'm pretty much sure that you are having remembered now some similar fears as well. I would have a lot of barriers, of blocks. I decided to leave them behind, but now the most important part is, where am I going? What am I doing with all this freedom? I have a free mind, okay, but where am I going now? I'm glad that you agree, Delia. Thank you for the claps. And I would love to get your input on this as well, because it's very important that you are aware of how free is your mind at the end of each day. Even if you had a tough day, even if you had some very difficult situations to deal with, know that you can leave everything behind. Before I go, I want to encourage you to visit my website, which is still under construction, but bear with me, I'm getting there. I have for you to download a great gift that I have put a lot of work and soul into. And it is my guide. It is the 7-step guide to permanently conquer your fears. This is such an easy exercise. It's such an efficient way to leave behind all of the blocks, all of the negative beliefs, all of the negative emotions you have kept on for so long. You only need to do this 1-minute visualizing exercise. I call it the bag exercise, and you are going to have an even more free mind and clarity towards where you're going. I have put this exercise into practice several times, and I cannot tell you how impressed I was that you come to realize that your mind is actually so simple. It's so easy to only decide when you have a simple tool like the bag exercise that I created. When you simply decide that you no longer want to have that block, you are going to forget, even after 5 minutes, which was the problem, which was the situation that you have dealt with. And I look forward to getting your input on this, because I keep getting more and more feedback from this exercise, and I could not be happier that I created it. So make sure you check my website, download it. It's a gift from me to you. It's free, and it is designed to make you aware how easy it is to get your personal power back in your hands and see life as it is. Simple and very easy to deal with. Again, another fear that I had was I could not deal with life because life is very difficult. This was again another limiting belief, that it was induced to me by my relatives. Again, they were trying to protect me, and I believe that you are in the same situation with getting all sorts of limiting beliefs and negative patterns from the persons that are around us, because unfortunately And fortunately as well, we are the product of the environment where we live in. So bear with me for a second. Okay, sorry. So before I leave, I want to do a small recap about our talk from today, and I look forward to having more of your comments and thoughts about this. Number one is acknowledge the fact that you may have had a lot of your limiting beliefs, negative patterns, and fears, especially fears, growing up from your parents, from your relatives, grandparents, from the environment around you. But bear in mind and be gentle with these people. Bear in mind to be as compassionate as possible, because they were only trying to protect you. They did what they could to keep you safe, to keep you from not harming yourself or from making too high expectations or illusions. Acknowledge these fears and realize that you have an option to live a free life. You have the choice to make your life the way you want it to be, not without having your mind cleared up. And you can do this by testing the 7-step guide to permanently conquer your fears from my website. And even before you try this exercise, decide where you want to go. Create those objectives. Find a purpose. Write it down. Be as specific as possible, and great things are going to happen. I want to thank you for being with me today as well. I am very grateful for your time. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your comments. I look forward to seeing you next week as well. And why not tell me your opinions for our next live chat? What would you like me to talk about? Because I have a long list ahead. But if you have anything specific you'd like us to talk about, if you have any questions, any feedback, let me know. I would love to see what you think and get your great input as well, because your experience is very valuable to me, and I am so sure it's very valuable to our group as well. Thank you once again for joining. I will see you soon. I look forward to your comments, to your questions. I'm very grateful for you, for you taking your time, taking 30 minutes of your time to be here with me today. I cannot wait to get to know you, to get your story. And I will see you in our next live session. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.